Hey Astros fans, welcome to today's edition of Extra Innings, the Astros Fans UK next day recap on Astros ball games. Game 107, Astros 1, Nationals 2. Let's dive into the key talking points from a painful and avoidable loss in a pitching duel to start the series at home with 3 up, 3 down. 3 up. Leading off, Framber Valdez. It was a truly spectacular performance from the Viper, matching his season high with 12 strikeouts in another totally dominant 6-inning performance, until an incredibly frustrating end to his 6th led to the game being tied up after we had finally taken the lead. With 2 outs, Framber gave up one of his 2 walks on the night to Josh Bell, before being denied what should have been a strike 3 call on Nathaniel Lowe to end the inning on a 2-2 pitch, which was swiftly followed by a double down the right field line that tied the game. Framber surprisingly publicly criticised our defensive positioning after the game, but in reality he threw one of his poorest pitches of the night after still being frustrated at not getting the strike 3 call. It ended up as a no decision for Framber, but the eventual defeat was our first in a game started by him in his last 14 outings. What a waste of a gem. Up second, Mauricio Dubon. M-Dub drove in the go-ahead run in the bottom of the 5th to break the deadlock as we finally scored the first run in a game for the first time in 19 games, avoiding an unwanted MLB record. It felt like a turning point moment in this current run, but sadly it wasn't. Up third, Brian Abreu and Josh Hader. After a period a couple of weeks ago where they were both in danger of being run into the ground, the only positive to the difficult stretch we're presently going through is that Abreu and Hader are rested and fully refreshed. Joe Espada brought them in here for the 8th and 9th with his 1 run down, and they both looked electric, picking up 5 strikeouts. 3 down, first out, the offense. Once again, our bats scuppered our hopes in this one as they were wholly dominated by National starting pitcher Brad Lord over 5 innings, before struggling versus their unheralded bullpen. We only had 4 hits all game and went 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position, the most egregious example of this failure being Yanni Diaz grounding into a double play in the 7th with 2 on after Christian Walker's double and the returning Jacob Melton's walk. We wouldn't go on to get a better chance. Our bats control our destiny right now. Second out, Brian King. Slightly harsh to include him as it wasn't a bad pitch, but with 2 outs in the 7th, King gave up the homer over right field that would eventually consign us to defeat. In fact, it was ever so marginally similar to another much more infamous 7th inning homer given up the other way to right field versus the Nationals in late October 2019. King shouldn't be too damaged by this one and should be able to get back on the horse. Third out, home plate umpire Lance Barksdale. A shambolic display that seemed to get worse as the game went on. Both teams had bad calls, but it certainly felt like the more impactful ones went against us, including Framber's aforementioned non-strike 3 call in the 6th and a dreadful strike 3 call on Dubon to end the 7th when it should have been ball 4. Personally, I can't wait to see umpires get put in their place by the ABS system when it's introduced. A couple of extra points to finish on. Hammer blow. To lose a game like that, which felt like it was about to be a mood changer but instead ends up as a 5-game losing streak, was a real gut punch. And cavalry coming. The injury update ahead of the game was certainly a positive, with Jeremy Pena's imminent AAA rehab start the headline that reinforcements are on the way. With the loss, we dropped to 60 and 46, and our AL West lead drops to 3 games ahead of the Mariners. There's a lot of season left, and every game is a big one now. That's it for today's Extra Innings, the next day recap. Let me know your takes on the loss in the comments. Make sure you're following at AstrosFansUK on all platforms, and I'll catch you tomorrow for the next edition of Extra Innings. Go Stros!